The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows over the countryside as Emily stood before the barn that had remained a forbidden territory throughout her marriage to William. A gust of wind carried the scent of hay and memories, and with a deep breath, Emily pushed open the creaking door, revealing a world frozen in time. Cobwebs draped like forgotten memories adorned the corners of the dimly lit space. Dust particles danced in the air as Emily made her way through the labyrinth of stacked boxes, rusty tools, and old furniture. The air was thick with the weight of the past, and every step seemed to echo the secrets buried within the walls. As Emily sifted through the forgotten artifacts, her hands brushed against a dusty, leather-bound journal. Its cover worn and weathered, it beckoned her to unveil the mysteries within. She hesitated, then with a determined resolve, she opened the first page. Amidst the yellowed pages, Emily discovered a narrative of William's thoughts and experiences, a window into the corners of his life she had never glimpsed. The journal revealed a man who had hidden his true self, a man whose secrets now lay exposed in ink. Lost in the words of the past, Emily heard a rustling sound behind her. Startled, she turned to find Mrs. Thompson, an elderly neighbor, peering into the barn. "Emily, dear, what are you doing in here?" Mrs. Thompson's voice trembled with concern. I needed to understand," Emily replied, her eyes still fixed on the journal in her hands. Mrs. Thompson shuffled closer, her wrinkled face etched with sympathy. "Some doors are better left closed, my dear. The past can be a haunting place." "But I have to know," Emily said, her voice firm. "There are things about William the First never understood." Mrs. Thompson sighed, placing a gentle hand on Emily's shoulder. "Sometimes, ignorance is bliss. Are you sure you're ready for the truth?" Emily nodded, the weight of uncertainty settling in her chest. She turned back to the journal, reading aloud a passage that struck a chord within her. "Heart heavy with secrets, a barn full of untold stories. It's time to face the truth and unburden the past." Mrs. Thompson offered a sympathetic smile. "If you ever need someone to share the weight, dear, I'm just next door." As Emily delved deeper into the barn's secrets, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows that seemed to dance with the echoes of the past. The journey into uncharted territory had just begun, and with it, the unraveling of a tapestry woven with secrets, lies, and the untold chapters of William's life. The moon hung like a silver lantern in the night sky, casting a pale glow over the quiet village. Emily, fueled by a newfound determination, continued her exploration of William's secrets. The leather-bound journal she had discovered in the barn now rested on the worn kitchen table, its pages eagerly awaiting scrutiny. As Emily delved deeper into the contents of the journal, the revelations unfolded like a twisted narrative. The inked confession spoke of a clandestine affair with a woman named Nora, a forbidden liaison that had been skillfully concealed from Emily's unsuspecting eyes. Emily's hands trembled as she read the entries, her eyes widening with each shocking detail. "Nora. But how?" Emily murmured to herself, the weight of the truth settling heavily on her shoulders. The dim light of a single lamp flickered, casting eerie shadows in the room, as Emily grappled with the reality of William's double life. The air seemed to thicken with a mixture of anger, betrayal, and a profound sadness that clung to the walls. Unable to contain her emotions, Emily slammed the journal shut, her gaze fixed on a family portrait hanging on the wall. In that frozen moment captured in the photograph, the smiles of a seemingly happy family mocked her newfound understanding. The following day, Emily confronted Nora, determined to extract the truth. Nora's home, a quaint cottage at the outskirts of the village, stood amidst a garden of vibrant flowers. Emily hesitated before knocking on the door, her knuckles rapping against the aged wood in rhythm with her racing heart. Nora opened the door, her eyes widening at the sight of Emily's tear-streaked face. "Emily, what brings you here?" You know exactly why I'm here, Emily replied, her voice strained. I read William's journal, Nora. Nora's expression shifted from surprise to a guilty unease. Oh, Emily, I didn't think you would find out. How could you do this? Emily's voice quivered with a mix of anger and hurt. Nora sighed, her gaze dropping to the floor. It's complicated. William and I, we had history. A connection that never truly faded. History. A connection. Emily's eyes flashed with frustration. He was my husband. Nora reached out, attempting to touch Emily's shoulder, but Emily recoiled. I'm sorry, Emily. You deserve to know the truth. As the conversation unfolded, Emily learned of Ethan, the secret child born from William and Nora's forbidden union. The revelation cut through her like a knife, leaving wounds that time alone could not heal. The village, unaware of the storm brewing within Emily, continued its rhythmic existence. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting shadows that mirrored the darkness settling in Emily's heart. The journey into the unknown had taken an unexpected turn, leaving Emily to grapple with the shattered pieces of her once beloved life. The following days were a tempest of emotions for Emily. The weight of William's betrayal and the revelation of Ethan's existence pressed upon her like an unyielding burden. Determined to face the truth head-on, Emily sought out Nora once more. On a cool afternoon, Emily found herself standing outside Nora's cottage. The air hung heavy with tension as she knocked on the door, her knuckles rapping against the wood in a rhythmic plea for answers. Nora opened the door, her eyes reflecting a mix of guilt and remorse. Emily, I didn't expect to see you again so soon. I need to understand, Nora. I need to know everything, Emily said, her voice steady but laced with pain. Nora gestured for Emily to come inside, and they settled into the worn chairs by the fireplace. The crackling flames mirrored the intensity of the conversation that unfolded. I never meant to hurt you, Nora began, her eyes avoiding Emily's gaze. William and I, we shared a history that refused to be buried. When he moved on with you, I thought I could too, but what? Emily pressed, her patience wearing thin. But the connection lingered. I was weak, and he was torn between two worlds, Nora confessed, her fingers nervously tracing patterns on her lap. Two worlds. Emily's brows furrowed. He loved you, Emily, but there was a part of him that couldn't let go of our past. Ethan is the product of that lingering connection, Nora admitted, her voice strained. Emily took a moment to absorb the truth. The revelation that William had carried the weight of a double life was a bitter pill to swallow. Why didn't he tell me? Why keep it a secret? Nora sighed, her gaze meeting Emily's. He was afraid, Emily. Afraid of losing you, afraid of the consequences. He thought he could protect you by keeping it hidden. Emily's eyes glistened with unshed tears. Protect me. He's only caused pain. Nora reached out, placing a hand on Emily's. I know the hurt runs deep, Emily. But Ethan deserves a chance to know his mother, to be a part of your life. A moment of silence hung in the air as Emily processed the words. Finally, she spoke, her voice a mix of vulnerability and determination. I will be there for Ethan. But don't mistake this for forgiveness, Nora. I'm doing this for him, not for you or William. Nora nodded solemnly, acknowledging the complexity of the situation. I understand, Emily. It's a long road ahead, but facing the truth is the first step. As Emily left Nora's cottage, the weight of the conversation lingered in the air. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows that mirrored the complexity of the choices ahead. Emily was resolved to face the challenges awaiting her, to navigate the intricacies of her newfound reality, and to find a way forward for herself and Ethan. The truth, though painful, had become a compass guiding Emily through the uncharted territories of her heart. As Emily navigated the intricacies of her new reality, the villagers, upon learning of Ethan's existence, rallied around her in a collective effort to provide support. The quaint village, with its close-knit community, became a sanctuary for Emily and Ethan as they faced the financial and emotional challenges that came with their unique situation. One evening, a gathering took place at the village square, adorned with fairy lights and the warmth of shared compassion. Villagers, young and old, came together to organize fundraisers and contribute to Ethan's much-needed surgery. Emily, though initially hesitant to accept help, soon realized the depth of the community's genuine care. Amidst the crowd, Mrs. Thompson approached Emily, a kind smile on her weathered face. "Emily, dear, you're not alone in this. We're here for you and Ethan." Touched by the gesture, Emily nodded. "Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. It means more than you can imagine." The village blacksmith, Mr. Anderson, chimed in, "We're a family here, Emily. Ethan is one of ours, and we'll do whatever it takes to help." As the community worked tirelessly to raise funds, Emily found solace in the collective embrace of her fellow villagers. The burden she carried seemed to lighten with each act of kindness, and a newfound strength blossomed within her. One day, as Ethan played with the other village children, Emily sat with Mrs. Thompson on the porch, overlooking the lively scene. "The village has come together in ways I never expected," Emily mused. Mrs. Thompson nodded knowingly. Times of hardship reveal the true character of a community. "You and Ethan are a part of this tapestry now, dear." As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the village square, Emily couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude for the support surrounding her. Later that week, at the village community center, a fundraising event unfolded with laughter and camaraderie. Emily, amidst the crowd, overheard snippets of conversation. "Have you heard about Emily and Ethan? The whole village is pitching in. Such a brave woman, facing everything with grace." Emily approached a group of women chatting near the refreshment table. Sarah, a fellow villager, smiled warmly. "Emily, we're so glad you're here. We've been working on something special for Ethan's surgery fund." As the women presented a handcrafted quilt filled with the signatures and well-wishes of the villagers, Emily felt a lump in her throat. "This is beautiful. Thank you all so much." The village had become a haven of support, a sanctuary where burdens were shared, and love flowed freely. Emily, amidst the challenges, found herself embracing the newfound sense of belonging that had blossomed within the heart of the community. The journey, though difficult, was made lighter by the collective strength of those who had become not just neighbors, but family. The village square buzzed with anticipation as the fundraising event for Ethan's surgery took center stage. Vibrant decorations adorned the space, and the air was filled with the tantalizing aroma of homemade treats and the sounds of laughter. Emily stood by the entrance, a mix of gratitude and humility washing over her as villagers greeted her with warm smiles. The unity of the community was palpable, and it fueled her determination to provide a better future for Ethan. Mr. Anderson, the village blacksmith, approached with a twinkle in his eyes. "Emily, we're about to start the auction for the handcrafted quilt. It's garnered quite a bit of interest." Emily nodded appreciatively, her gaze drawn to the quilt adorned with heartfelt messages and signatures from the villagers. "It's truly a treasure. I hope it brings in the support Ethan needs." As the auction commenced, villagers eagerly bid on the quilt, showcasing their generosity. Emily observed with a mix of awe and gratitude, realizing that this collective effort was not just about financial assistance but a testament to the emotional support the village was offering. Mrs. Thompson approached Emily, a small envelope in her hands. "This is a collection of donations from the village, dear. It might not be much, but every bit counts." Touched by the gesture, Emily opened the envelope to find an assortment of bills, accompanied by handwritten notes of encouragement. "Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. This means the world to us." The community center was alive with the spirit of camaraderie as villagers shared stories, laughter, and their contributions to Ethan's surgery fund. Sarah, one of the organizers, approached Emily. "Emily, we've raised more than we anticipated." "It's incredible how everyone has come together for Ethan," Sarah exclaimed. Emily smiled, her eyes glistening with appreciation. "I never expected this level of support. The village has truly become our extended family." The auction reached its climax, and the quilt was sold to the highest bidder amidst cheers and applause. The funds raised exceeded expectations, providing a glimmer of hope for Ethan's future. As the event came to a close, Emily addressed the villagers, her voice filled with gratitude. "I can't express how thankful I am for each and every one of you. This community has shown us kindness, compassion, and unity. We're not alone in this journey, and Ethan and I are forever grateful." The villagers responded with heartfelt applause, their faces reflecting the warmth of shared purpose. The sense of togetherness lingered in the air as the event concluded, leaving Emily with a renewed sense of strength and a community united in their commitment to support one another. As the moon rose in the night sky, casting its gentle glow over the village, Emily and Ethan walked home hand in hand, their hearts filled with the reassurance that they were not alone on their journey. The bonds forged in the village square would carry them through the challenges that lay ahead, a testament to the power of compassion and unity within a close-knit community. With the support of the village behind her, Emily embraced the challenges of being a mother to Ethan, finding moments of joy amidst the struggles. The days were filled with a newfound routine, laughter, and shared experiences that began to heal the wounds of the past. One sunny afternoon, Emily and Ethan ventured into the heart of the village, where a bustling farmers' market had sprung up. The vibrant colors of fresh produce, handmade crafts, and the aroma of baked goods filled the air. The villagers greeted Emily and Ethan with warm smiles, acknowledging the strength and resilience they had witnessed. As they strolled through the market, Mrs. Thompson approached with a basket of ripe apples. "Emily, dear, these are from my orchard. A little gift for Ethan." Emily accepted the basket with gratitude. "Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. He loves apples." Mrs. Thompson winked at Ethan, who shyly peeked out from behind Emily. "Well then, young man, you enjoy those apples. And remember, if you ever need a story or two, I'm just next door." The market became a place of connection and shared moments. Sarah, who had organized the fundraising event, approached with a handmade toy for Ethan. "We thought he might enjoy this. It's a little something from all of us." Ethan's eyes lit up as he received the toy, and Emily couldn't help but feel overwhelmed by the genuine kindness surrounding them. "Thank you, Sarah. He'll cherish it." As the weeks unfolded, Emily discovered that the village had become a source of strength not just for her but for Ethan as well. The children in the village embraced him, inviting him to play and explore, creating bonds that transcended the challenges of the past. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Emily and Ethan joined the village for a community picnic in the central square. Blankets were spread, and the air was filled with the aroma of home-cooked dishes. Mr. Anderson, the blacksmith, approached with a plate of freshly grilled corn. "Emily, Ethan, we thought you might enjoy this. It's a little taste of summer," Mr. Anderson said with a hearty laugh. Emily smiled, feeling a sense of belonging that she had never imagined. "Thank you, Mr. Anderson. You've all been so kind to us." The picnic was a celebration of unity, a gathering that showcased the strength of the village's support. Villagers shared stories, laughter, and homemade dishes, creating a tapestry of memories that began to weave joy into the fabric of Emily and Ethan's lives. As the night sky adorned itself with stars, Emily and Ethan walked home, their hearts full of gratitude. The struggles of the past were not forgotten, but in the embrace of the village, they had found a sense of joy and belonging. The journey, though challenging, had become a shared experience, and in the heart of the village, Emily and Ethan discovered the resilience that blossoms when joy is found amid struggles. In the quiet moments between the village festivities and the daily routine, Emily found herself drawn back to the barn that had become both a sanctuary and a repository of secrets. The leather-bound journal had opened a window into William's hidden life, but there was another mystery waiting to be unraveled, a story that lay hidden within the walls of the barn. One afternoon, with a sense of curiosity and trepidation, Emily began to sift through the dusty corners of the barn. As she moved old boxes and rearranged forgotten tools, her eyes caught sight of a loose floorboard beneath a worn-out rug. With cautious anticipation, Emily pried the floorboard open to reveal a small, weathered wooden box nestled within the recesses of the barn. The air seemed to hum with a whispered secret as she carefully lifted the box, its hinges creaking with the weight of untold stories. As she opened the box, Emily discovered a collection of old letters tied together with a faded ribbon. Each letter bore the elegant penmanship of a bygone era. The discovery sparked her curiosity, and she began to read the letters, unraveling a tale of love, sacrifice, and a hidden treasure. Mrs. Thompson, who had been watching Emily from a distance, approached with a gentle smile. "Found something interesting, dear?" Emily nodded, her eyes still fixed on the letters. "It seems like a story from a different time, Mrs. Thompson. Do you know anything about this?" Mrs. Thompson took a deep breath, her eyes reflecting a mixture of nostalgia and wisdom. "That, my dear, is the tale of the hidden treasure, a story passed down through generations in this village." As Emily read the letters, she discovered that the hidden treasure was not just a metaphorical term. It spoke of a long-lost family heirloom, a valuable piece of jewelry hidden away during a tumultuous period in the village's history. One of the letters revealed a love story between two individuals, Christopher's ancestors, who had concealed the family's prized possession beneath the apple tree in the village square. Emily couldn't help but feel a connection to the past, realizing that the village's history was intertwined with the unfolding chapters of her own life. As Emily absorbed the significance of the hidden treasure, Mrs. Thompson shared her insights. "The village has faced its share of hardships, my dear. But each generation has found a way to overcome, and the hidden treasure is a symbol of resilience and hope." Emily closed the box, her heart filled with a newfound understanding. "I never imagined the barn held such rich history, Mrs. Thompson. It's like stepping into a living storybook." Mrs. Thompson chuckled, "Indeed, dear. The village has a way of revealing its secrets when the time is right. It's a reminder that even in the darkest corners, there's a glimmer of hope and a story waiting to be told." As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows in the barn, Emily carefully placed the box back beneath the floorboard. The hidden treasure had become a tangible link between her present and the village's past, a connection that added depth to the unfolding narrative of Emily's life. With a lingering sense of awe, Emily left the barn, accompanied by Mrs. Thompson's parting words, "Sometimes, dear, the most precious treasures are those hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right person to discover them." The hidden treasure became a metaphor for the resilience of the village and the untold stories that echoed through its history. Emily, now a custodian of both her own journey and the village's legacy, felt a renewed sense of purpose as she continued to navigate the uncharted territories of her intertwined past and present. The discovery of the hidden treasure had opened a door to the village's rich history, but it had also unveiled unresolved emotions within Emily. The past, like a specter, lingered, and she felt compelled to confront it head-on. One crisp morning, Emily decided to visit Christopher, the local historian, seeking more insights into the letters she had found. His quaint cottage, nestled amidst a thicket of trees, exuded an air of wisdom and history. As Emily approached, she found Christopher absorbed in a pile of old documents and maps. He looked up, his eyes brightening at her arrival. "Emily, what brings you here?" "I've discovered something in the barn, letters detailing a love story and a hidden treasure," Emily explained, holding the wooden box in her hands. Christopher's eyes widened with recognition. "Ah, the hidden treasure. A tale as old as the village itself. Sit down, Emily. Let me share the story with you." As Christopher recounted the history of the hidden treasure, Emily listened intently, realizing that the story intertwined with her own. The love story in the letters echoed the sacrifices made for the sake of the village's survival. As the tale unfolded, Emily couldn't help but feel a surge of empathy for the characters from the past. "It's both heartbreaking and beautiful. How did their story end?" Christopher sighed. "The treasure remained hidden for generations, a symbol of resilience and sacrifice." "But, Emily, every story has its twists and turns. The question is, what will you do with this newfound knowledge?" Emily hesitated, the weight of the past pressing on her shoulders. "I need to confront it, Christopher. There are unresolved feelings, secrets that need to be brought into the light." Christopher nodded, understanding the complexity of Emily's emotions. Confronting the past can be challenging, but it's a necessary step. The village has a way of guiding those who seek answers. Buoyed by Christopher's words, Emily embarked on a journey of introspection. She decided to confront Nora, the woman who had played a role in William's hidden life. The meeting took place at Nora's cottage, where the air was thick with tension. Nora, aware of Emily's purpose, welcomed her with a solemn expression. "Emily, I expected this confrontation. I'm ready to face the consequences of my actions." Emily, though filled with a mix of anger and sorrow, sought clarity. "Tell me the truth, Nora. About William, about Ethan, about everything." Nora took a deep breath, recounting the events that had led to the affair and the birth of Ethan. As the truth unfolded, Emily's emotions were a tumultuous sea, but she held firm, determined to face the reality. "You have a right to be angry, Emily," Nora admitted, her eyes reflecting remorse. "But I hope you can find it in your heart to understand the complexities of our choices." Emily, though grappling with conflicting emotions, acknowledged the depth of Nora's honesty. "I don't know if I'll ever fully understand, Nora. But Ethan is a part of this story now, and I will do whatever it takes to ensure he has a stable and loving future." As Emily left Nora's cottage, the weight of the confrontation lingered. She felt both burdened and liberated by the truth. The village, with its hidden stories and intertwined destinies, had become a witness to the unfolding chapters of Emily's life. The confrontation with the past was a pivotal moment, setting the stage for Emily to navigate the complexities of her relationships and shape a future that reconciled the tangled threads of the village's history and her own journey. In the aftermath of the confrontation with Nora, Emily found herself grappling with a swirl of emotions. The village, once a haven of familiar faces, now held layers of complexity that required unraveling. Amidst the uncertainty, unexpected connections began to emerge. One sunny afternoon, as Emily strolled through the village square, she noticed a familiar face that had until now remained in the periphery of her awareness: James, a man with a gentle demeanor who seemed to carry a certain curiosity about the unfolding events. Approaching him, Emily greeted, "Hello, James. We haven't had a chance to talk much. How are you?" James smiled warmly, sensing the weight of recent events in Emily's eyes. "I've been following the village's journey, Emily. It's quite a remarkable story." Emily nodded, appreciating the sincerity in James's words. "It has been quite a journey indeed. There's so much more beneath the surface, and I'm trying to navigate it all." James gestured to a nearby bench. "Mind if we sit for a moment? I've been meaning to share something with you." Curiosity piqued, Emily joined James on the bench. He began to unfold a tale of his own family's history, revealing connections that transcended the boundaries of time. As James spoke, Emily discovered that his ancestors were intertwined with the very characters from the Hidden Treasure story. The love, sacrifice, and resilience echoed through generations. "It's incredible, Emily," James remarked. "Our families, connected by fate and the threads of history. I never expected to find such a profound connection." Emily, though initially surprised, felt a sense of comfort in the unexpected bond forming between their families. "It seems the village has a way of weaving together lives in ways we can't always foresee." As they continued their conversation, Emily and James found solace in the shared understanding of their families' interconnected pasts. The village, with its hidden stories and unspoken ties, had become a tapestry where every thread contributed to the larger narrative. Later that week, Emily decided to revisit the barn, the space that had become a repository of both secrets and revelations. She was joined by Mrs. Thompson, who had been a steadfast presence throughout her journey. As they sifted through the remnants of the past, Mrs. Thompson shared tales of her own family's history, weaving a narrative that added layers to the stories Emily had uncovered. The barn, once a place of mystery, now echoed with the voices of generations past. Mrs. Thompson chuckled, "You see, dear, the village is a living entity. Every family, every individual, leaves an imprint on its history. You and James are merely the latest chapters in a story that has been unfolding for centuries." Emily, grateful for the insights, felt a sense of belonging that surpassed the challenges she had faced. The unexpected connections forged in the village had become a source of strength, reminding her that she was not alone in navigating the complexities of her intertwined past and present. As they left the barn, Mrs. Thompson placed a reassuring hand on Emily's shoulder. "The village has a way of guiding those who seek understanding. Embrace the connections, dear, for they are the threads that bind us all." In the quiet moments that followed, Emily reflected on the unexpected connections that had emerged from the tapestry of the village. The intertwined destinies, though complex, brought a sense of unity and purpose. As she looked toward the horizon, Emily felt a renewed determination to navigate the uncharted territories of her family's history and continue shaping a future that honored both the past and the present. As the village embraced the changing seasons, Emily found herself standing at the threshold of a new beginning. The revelations, confrontations, and unexpected connections had reshaped her understanding of the village and her own journey. With a sense of resolution, Emily embarked on the final chapter of this transformative tale. One morning, as the sun painted the sky with hues of gold, Emily gathered the villagers in the central square. The air buzzed with anticipation, and faces turned towards her, curious about the purpose of the gathering. "I've come to realize that every family in this village has a story, a tapestry woven with threads of love, sacrifice, and resilience," Emily began, her voice carrying the weight of the shared history. "Our interconnected pasts have brought us to this moment, and it's time to embrace the future together." The crowd listened intently, aware that Emily's words carried a profound meaning. James stood by her side, a silent supporter in this moment of communal reflection. "Today, I want to acknowledge the stories that bind us, the hidden treasures and unexpected connections that have shaped our lives. We stand here not just as individuals but as a part of a larger narrative, the story of this village," Emily continued. A hush fell over the square as Emily revealed the wooden box containing the letters and artifacts she had discovered in the barn. The villagers, sensing the gravity of the moment, watched with a shared sense of reverence. "These letters tell tales of love, sacrifice, and the resilience that has defined our village through the ages," Emily declared. "It's time to honor our shared history and embrace a new beginning." As she spoke, Emily invited villagers to share their own stories, creating a communal space where the narratives of individual families became threads in the larger tapestry of the village. Faces lit up with memories, and dialogues began to flow, breaking down the walls that had separated generations. Mrs. Thompson stepped forward, her voice steady with wisdom. Our history, though marked by challenges, is a testament to the strength that comes from unity. Let us cherish the connections that bind us and look forward to a future where we continue to support and uplift one another. The square echoed with a shared sentiment of unity, and the villagers, once divided by untold stories, now stood together in a moment of collective understanding. Emily, realizing the significance of the village's interconnected past, felt a sense of fulfillment. Later that day, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Emily and James walked through the village, the air charged with a renewed energy. They stopped by the apple tree in the central square, the very spot where the hidden treasure had been concealed for generations. "This tree has witnessed so much," James remarked, his eyes tracing the contours of the branches. "It's a living testament to the stories that have unfolded beneath its shade." Emily nodded, a smile playing on her lips. "And it will continue to bear witness to the stories that are yet to come. Our journey doesn't end here, it's a continuous cycle of growth, discovery, and connection." As the village embraced the idea of a new beginning, Emily and James found comfort in the shared understanding that they were custodians of both the past and the future. The village, with its intertwined destinies, had become a sanctuary where stories were celebrated, connections were forged, and every chapter, no matter how complex, contributed to the evolving narrative of a close-knit community. In the embrace of the changing seasons, the village looked toward the horizon with hope and resilience, ready to embark on the next chapter of its enduring tale, a tale that would continue to unfold with each passing day, each shared moment, and each unexpected connection.